ladies. Welcome to Hormone Breakthrough Wednesday. Arrive here for a minute and shake your body. Yeah. Let's do this, Valerie. Yes. Because it's great fun. It's so pleasurable. I see you out there not moving. Come on, girl. Let's shake your body. Get this going. Oh, so nice. That's so pretty. That's so pretty. That's my son Duncan's song. He goes by Don Cat, and that's from his album Don Gato, and that song is called Where the Wind Blows. And he's actually down in Scorpion Bay today surfing with some of his buddies. They took this really cool trip. And there's a swell, and it's just incredible. It's like the longest wave ever. It just keeps going. It's a really special, beautiful, beautiful place. And it's a perfect topic for today because they actually don't have internet there for about, I want to say, at least half of the day. At least half of the 24 hours, they have no electricity anywhere in town because they're trying to conserve energy. And so it is like a fabulous place to go if you want to reset time. It's really wonderful. And not only that, but the internet connection absolutely sucks. So I've tried to work there before and I'm like, I am just shutting her down. So I have a really special guest for you today. And before I introduce this beautiful, amazing woman who's going to help us get our time back, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But I just want to mention that we have two beautiful, incredible scholarships. They're, oh my gosh, they're 6-month scholarships to the Natural Hormone Solution Program. Like crazy amazing that a beautiful woman in the Natural Solution Hormone Program and who has now joined my 12-month program has given. So she wants to remain anonymous. So we're going to honor that. It is the hardest thing ever for me to help her remain anonymous. But we're going to announce the two winners, the two scholarship winners this Friday in 2 days. So we have a lot of applications. If you have not applied yet, please do. We'll be reviewing them all tomorrow. And we will choose the two women who get the 6-month scholarships to the Natural Hormone Solution Program. And we'll post it right here in our Facebook group. Isn't that great? So amazing. Very exciting. Okay, so today I have a really special guest. And, you know, one of the things I think that really keeps us from feeling balanced and in a place of peace and love and joy for life and showing up as our crazy, amazing, authentic selves, being present is that we're too busy. And we're too busy because that's how life is, right? Like last year, I think gave us a little bit of a taste of how life could be if it slowed down a little bit. You know, we actually couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't make reservations at a restaurant. We couldn't go to the spa. We couldn't go on vacation. We couldn't go anywhere. So there were no extraneous activities. So it really gave us a pause. It gave us a chance to slow down, right? To reevaluate what's important. But life is back in session now. Life is crazy, right? It goes at the speed of light. What's happened is the same thing that's happened with our food, that has happened with time. And we're going to talk about this, but our physiology has not caught up to how fast time moves now. Absolutely not. There's no way that you could be hormonally balanced with what all the things that we're expected to do now, right? Information is instant around the world. It's instant. Like how can we possibly keep up with that? But we sure try. And as women, we we want to please everybody, right? So we do our best to go as fast as we can. And that's how I rolled, right? I just went too fast all the time. And I can tell you, it absolutely wore me out and made me sick and tired, right? Really, like sick, tired, and fat. I can add that in. And yes, I was anxious all the time. That's kind of what kept me moving at this crazy pace, right? So we're gonna change that today. Are you excited? Oh my gosh. So I want you to post right here if you're joining us live, and if you're catching the replay, I want you to post as well. Just say hello and where you're joining in from. I read every single comment. Like this is one of my favorite days of the whole week, or favorite events of the whole week. So special to be together, right? So special. And please love up on some of the other ladies here. We want to keep the love going because we all need more. Yes. All right. So great to see you. So I'm going to go ahead and just close things. So internet works great because we need good internet. So this beautiful woman, her name is Valerie Shakti Bottazzi, and she is just a beautiful soul inside and out. You are going to, some of you may know her already, but of course you're going to love her inside and out. I love this. She's the happy survivor of over 30 years in the corporate world, right? That's kind of how it goes. You kind of try to survive. She's really like an incredible, I don't know, she's so smart in so many ways. She's experienced firsthand the emptiness that living out of alignment, right, can bring, right? So when we're not in alignment with sort of our purpose, with what we know is for us, if we're out of alignment with that, then things go haywire. Valerie's a certified coach. She teaches her clients how to make the same journey she has, that of quieting the analytical mind so that the inner wisdom, so our inner wisdom can blossom. The women who work with her become deeply connected to their own soul's work and lead a life of inspired action, purpose, passion, and prosperity. So she uses all that she's learned in transforming from a general manager to medicine woman to teach life-changing transformational workshops live and online. Her step-by-step processes empower women to enhance their lives with meaning by saying yes to their spiritual gifts. Now, this remarkable woman is a blend of Argentinian, like she's truly a masterpiece. Argentinian, Italian, and American cultures, right? She's this beautiful blend. And she's honest, she's deeply transparent, she's heart-centered, she's courageous, colorful, and absolutely gorgeous inside and out. And she loves to travel to exotic places. So I like to keep up with her, basically. And she's also in my 12-month program, Heal Your Hormones program. And she's absolutely rocking it. Like it's just because like she knows how to master time. Right. So welcome, Valerie. It's so great to have you here.
Oh, thank you for that introduction. I loved how you put it all together. So, and I love being here because I am deeply grateful to you as my guide in this journey of fully listening to my body, which is a journey that I started several years back after I really was very sick because I wasn't listening. And I love being able to also be of service with my own part that I add to what you give me. So it's beautiful to be here today.
Yeah, and Valerie is a bright shining light in my program. She's able to help the women see things in a little different way. Every time I have a consult with her, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you share that in the group? Because it's really like profound stuff, you know, and it's yeah, it's amazing. So tell us a little bit about how you got on this path.
Ooh, that's a long journey. I got on this path when I was 19 because I had suffered the loss of my dad and a sister in a very tragic way. Two different events. But when I was 21, I found myself having met the loss of two very dear people in my life, and I was completely out of whack and I needed answers. And I started studying meditation at that time, which was a very shush thing. Argentina was under the military coup, so this was a thing you couldn't say. This was like out there, right? And we're talking, I'm 57, we're talking 38 years ago, not now. Everybody's talking about meditation now. In those days,
Sure,
nobody did.
sure. Mhm.
And at that time, I discovered I was a healer. And then from there onwards, it was a long journey of denying my own truth. You know, it was, yes, I would go deep and back. And one of the biggest aspects that was so hard that I find many of us still experiencing was dividing myself into, like, I was this corporate woman. And when I was the corporate woman, I was denying all my femininity, my intuition, my body, my I was like, no, I just was this masculine aspect of myself. And then I would go on a retreat for a few days and it would be amazing. And I would like so be whole, and then I would cry my way out and into the world again. And I, this swing.
Yeah.
And it took me years to understand, and years in getting very sick, the importance of bringing it all in and accepting and taking in all aspects of who I was, and understanding that each one of us, each one of you, we are individuals full of colors and unique traits, and we're all needed. Each one of us is needed with our own unicity, um, because this is a time for humankind where, like you, Robin, said, we're going so fast and we've separated from the traditional ways in which we used to live in a tribal, in a communal way, and we're isolated. And we are human beings, are beings that need the connection. And so we need to bring forth who we are in order to feel good about ourselves, accept all of who we are, not reject ourselves, even because we are a little bit heavy or a little bit whatever, right? The color of the hair, of the skin, of the eyes, right? We do it to ourselves. So it's been
Yeah.
a journey. And thankfully, a few years back, I said yes to myself, all of who I am, and I honored my path as the medicine woman that I am, and started embracing fully my gifts and understanding that my joy came from doing what I love and following my passion.
Yeah. Can anybody here relate to setting aside kind of your voice, your inner self, your who you really are to do parts of your day? Like does that resonate with you? You can just, do a thumbs up or say, say more about that. Because I was I ran a large printing company for years, for like 21 years. And oh my goodness, I would sit there at my desk and I would think, okay, this is not my thing. Like this is not my thing, but I own the company, right? My husband and I own the company. This is not my thing, but I'm going to get through this. Like I'm going to be really good at it and get through this. But I said that every single day, right? Like just doing work that did not align with me
Oh,
any way,
yes.
shape, or form, right? But I'm just saying, I'm going to I can do this, like go faster, Robin, like I can do this. And it just friggin' wore me out. Like I set myself aside every single day. Can any of you relate to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't end well.
I'm
It,
I'm the first one to tell you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does not end well. I just completely wore myself out. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a sense of self anymore. I was really tired. I was fat. I had, you know, the acne, all my stuff. I was a hormonal
Your
mess.
body was yelling at you.
Oh my
Robin,
gosh,
stop.
it had been yelling at me for a long time, but it was like my work, right? I kept putting me aside,
Yeah,
right? I can do my work. I can override my body's signals. I can push through, right? And that's what we teach ourselves. But we're here today, and Valerie's going to help show us why we've got to get back into connection with who we are and get really like get a hold of time, like take our time back so that
yeah,
we can really
yeah.
fully like figure out and embrace and show up as who we truly are.
Yeah.
So Valerie, share a little bit about that. Like you have a lot to say. I mean, I really want to draw the connection between time, self-care, balancing your hormones, but in a way that shows us like it's really how we show up. And you said something about community, which is a really big part of your message. And those people who live longer and healthier than anyone else do so a lot because they're in community of like-minded people. They
Yeah.
eat together, they move together, they share the same thinking, they share the same like lifestyle and eating habits. And you know, those are the blue zones around the world. Community is enormous. Lonely people die much sooner. It is a scientific fact.
It
So
brings
community
stress.
is huge.
That's why
So,
there's
so
the pets, the company pets, right? And the service pets.
I don't know what that is. Company pets?
Yeah, like cats and dogs that lonely people can pet.
Company pets. Yeah.
Pets.
Pets for company. Yeah. Because pets, they really do. They help to balance your
Well,
hormones for
when you're
sure.
so lonely and you don't have anybody else,
Yeah.
they touch that ancient part in us that needs that connection with another human being.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the problem anyway with racing from one thing to the next all day
Yeah,
long?
yeah. So I'd love to like you ask like 5 questions all in one, but I'll try and answer it in one concept. Um, in the Western world, which is where we are, most of us, I'm sure, we live under the idea that time is linear. And therefore we go from here to there. Time has been divided in a random, really 24-hour day with 60 minutes. That has no foundation on any natural cycle of anything. That's a random thing. The Gregorian calendar that we go by, which is the one we live, the 12 months and the months we have, is completely random. It was created by Pope Gregory. Actually, there's another pope, and then Pope Gregory came after. And it, calend in Latin means taxes. It was a calendar created so people knew when they had to pay taxes. It was actually a 10-month calendar initially. This is really interesting. And then Julius Caesar wanted a month, so created the month July. And so it put it in the middle. That's why November is now month 11 and not month 9. November meant 9, the ninth month, right? And then Augustus came and he did August, because if July had a month, the emperor had to have another month. And so now we have a 12-month calendar. So it has no relationship to anything natural. It has no relationship to our biorhythms, to the cycles of our bodies, to anything that we use to live, because until not long ago in the history of humankind, we lived in communities. Again, we lived in tribes and even cavemen. Let's go far, right? And coming all the way.
Yeah.
And when we lived in communities, we communed with each other and we communed with nature. We went to bed at the beginning. We went to bed when the sun would set, and we would come up with the sun up, and we would understand the cycles of the moon. Women were all in tune. You know how when you're in a dorm or you're living with friends, you all get your cycle, your monthly cycles at the same time. In those days, you all used to have the cycles in the dark moon, in the new moon phase. And it was well known that those were the times in which our intuition was the most powerful, and it was honored. The female cycle that was going through the same cycles as the moon. We were in tune with our bodies. We were in tune with the cycles of the earth and of nature. We were in tune with, we were nature and we understood it. And so we spoke with the birds. We understood when storm were coming because we had learned how to read and listening to nature, plants, animals, and our bodies were part of the music of the harmony of everything. But as modern life came with as many wonderful benefits that modern life brought, it also broke us away from being in tune with the natural cycles of the earth and with our own inner natural cycles. We lost the ability to be able to understand even the messages our bodies are sending us. And we're so bombarded, like you said, Robin, by the emails and the TVs and the news and the fast-paced life and all of the things that we rarely learn to put in time in the day to quiet our minds and to listen in. Why is my body having acne, like in your sense, or in mine? My hips were so painful and I kept going. My hips were telling me, don't walk any longer in this path. And I kept going until I ended up having to have, I was in a wheelchair. I didn't listen. My body was telling me stop, and I kept going. And we each have our own stories about how our body spoke or speaks to us, and we don't listen. But the truth is that even the pill, which was an amazing step for women to be able to be sovereign about our bodies and not get pregnant, but it was also horrible because now we're being regulated by this outer thing that tells us when to menstruate and when to get pregnant or not get pregnant. And again, it has a complete disconnection with the truth of how our bodies are part of a bigger harmony, because we are like one line of music in the big line of the music of the world, how it works, of the nature, right? Does that make sense?
We're one harmony, yeah, in the whole, yeah,
And we're one
the whole
tone of
story.
that harmony,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
But
we've
you've said
lost.
some really powerful things here that I think that we need to recap. And the first one is, what? The 12-month calendar means nothing, but when I'm supposed
Nothing.
to pay my taxes, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense because at year end, right, come April 15th, we have to pay our taxes. Oh my gosh, so crazy. And then I heard that like the time, at least here in the States, or maybe it started in England or something, Europe, the train schedule started us keeping track of time, the darn train schedule. So
Random.
that's how meaningless, time is.
Completely random.
So meaningless. And I love that you talked about, how when women are together in community, their cycles regulate to each other. I mean, that is like, how powerful is that? Like that right there shows how important community is. And you had pushed yourself, you had, you know, ignored your body for so long that you ended up in a wheelchair, right? With 2 hip replacement surgeries or
Yes.
something. Like that's how it happens, before we say, whoa, maybe I need to make a change here, you know? And so, and you've come out, I mean, you are like doing way, way, way better than you have for years
Oh, yeah. But
because
also,
you started paying attention.
yeah. And what you said something that I want to underline is because I didn't listen, but also and I think this happens to many, I didn't think I had an alternative. That is the scariest thing.
Right.
Many of us think that we cannot get off the train, or we cannot get off the crazy hamster wheel. We think that there is no alternative. We are so in it that we cannot see that in effect we have a choice.
Mhm. Right.
And that's why the ultimate of today's topic, it only takes one day to choose ourselves, to choose life.
Yes. So we had shared that today we're going to talk about choosing ourselves, right? How to choose yourself, how to stand up for your health, how to reset your mind. And I'm curious about that. How to learn a new habit, make a decision, right? Create a change, because, the definition of insanity
Is to
is,
keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
yes. And I did that year after year after year. Every January, I would go on a diet. And yes, I would lose weight. And yes, I would gain it back. And yes, I would go back to all my habits. So, how do we fix this, Valerie?
Yeah. Yes. So I'm just tuning into what order to share a concept that's a little bit more complex. In order to choose ourselves, it is important we do exactly that. We take time every single day to go through what I call my morning ritual in my case. It could be an evening ritual, it could be an afternoon ritual, it could be any time of the day. My experience is that 90% of the times, unless you put that time for yourself at the beginning of the day, then the day overtakes you and you never put that time in there. It's just the way life is. You're like, I'm going to do it afterwards, and then the call comes and the kids come and the lunch come and it's just never happening.
Yeah,
So
there's a saying that goes, the way you start your day is the way the rest of your day will
yeah,
go. Yeah.
yeah. In Italian, we have the same saying with different words, but the same concept.
Oh, let's hear it in Italian.
Il buongiorno si vede dal mattino. So the good day, you can see the good day since the morning. Il buongiorno si vede dal mattino. It's
Oh,
the
that's so
same idea.
beautiful. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So yeah, so I learned the importance of also the other tool for me, foundational tool is meditation. It's like the ultimate foundational tool of anything. And if you've never meditated in your life, even 5 minutes will make an incredible difference. And if you've meditated 20 minutes, that amp it up to 30. Because the thing with meditation is that it allows you little by little to be able to discern that voice of the mind, which is always talking to you, and it's dual. I want this, but I don't want this, right? I want a relationship, but I will lose my freedom. I want the sweet, but I want to be skinny, right? But I want the chocolate cake, and that's the mind, right? And sometimes it is so subtle that it's self-sabotage. We self-sabotage, and we don't even know. And so meditation allows us to do that distinction, to understand what is the voice of our higher self or our inner knowing, whatever we want to call it, versus what's the voice of the mind. And we need to quiet ourselves and quiet the constant stimulus in order to be able to recognize that, because that voice whispers. And if you're always loud, you won't hear it. And the other aspect is, so allowing yourself that morning ritual. The morning ritual can have many components. I like to say, we're soul, mind, heart, and body. And all four want attention when you take care of yourself. So to make sure that you give all of those aspects nourishment. And it's a journey. It won't happen. It takes 1 second, not even one day, to make the choice. And then you have to make the choice over and 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 over. Over and over and over. Because life will throw all kinds of things at you that will want to derail you. But if you've made the choice and it's a deep choice, you will be able to stand against all the winds that will come. And if you slip, you just choose again.
That's a really important concept. And I know in business, there's a concept where you say, every day when you come into work, you blow up your business and you kind of reinvent it, right? You take a look at it with fresh eyes, right? And Valerie is so right. Life happens. And sometimes it happens in a really big way that can take you out. And I've experienced that a lot already this year, right? But if you
Oh, yeah.
continually choose self-care, I come first, right? I have to take care of myself before I can serve others. Like, it is, Valerie's so right. It's not even a choice every day. It's a choice throughout the day. I wouldn't say every minute, but pretty much, right? Like we're constantly saying, how will this serve me? How will this serve me? Like, do I do this now or not, right? You're always asking how this will serve you, because otherwise you'll get derailed. And do we love excuses? Yes, we do. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, tomorrow, because you made excuses today, whatever it is, I bet I can top your biggest excuse, first of all, except for one thing. And I'm not even going to talk about that, but except for one thing. But here's the deal. Tomorrow, when you made up these excuses of why you couldn't show up for yourself, you're going to be really bummed, right? That you chose to yet let another day pass not taking care of yourself. So Valerie is going to help us out of that mess, because I lived that mess for years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to say something. You know, I have a universal shamanism path. I've studied with many teachers from the West and from the Andean shamanism and from the Native Americans. Like I so many years, right? So I've had so many teachers, but there's a common thread which is very interesting, and it's that the wise men and women from these traditions that are in touch with nature and understand that they're an integral part of nature, understand that time is not linear. Time is circular, pretzel-like. Time is really a wibbly wobbly mass. The best the best definition I've ever heard to explain it to our Western mind was by Brian Weiss. He's a doctor and also an expert in past life regression. And he says that time can be equated to a big lake where every point of water in the lake is a point in time. So, and it's all happening at the same time. We think that we are here now and that when we were children happened many years ago, but in the time continuum, we are children and we're adults and we're all at the same time. And when we do shamanic journeys, when we go into the spiritual realm through meditation or through ceremony, we access that non-linear time. I know this is kind of like a big concept, but the importance of this concept is that when we understand that, we understand that we can pause and we don't need to be running after time, because the thing we do normally is we run constantly because we need to get to the next thing, to the we can stop and we understand that it's going to be there, even if we take time for ourselves. Whatever is in our to-do lists, which by the way, we need to drop into the trash and stop living through to-do lists and learn how to live through calendaring things in our lives with priorities ahead of time. But that's like for another conversation of organization of time. But when we learn that the most important thing we can do in a day is to take that time for ourselves. It's the ultimate, because we learn that when we give, I love this phrase, when we give from our cup runneth over, we never really get tired. But when we give out of sense of duty, of musts and shoulds, we get exhausted and we get sick. We go back to the body saying, I can't keep pushing. But when we take that time to nourish our soul, our body, our mind, our hearts, and then we go into the day. So let's say we wake up, we take time to meditate, we take time to walk in nature or sit in the garden or do some yoga poses or some Tai Chi. And then we have a nurturing breakfast. And then we have a loving conversation with our husband or our children. And then we start our day. You've nourished all the aspects of your life. And now you're ready to say, okay, what do I need to tackle? But now you're not, you didn't get out of the bed and and like hit that kind of stress modality. And I see so many people do that
Oh
all the
gosh,
time.
we don't have time for breakfast, Valerie, even.
I know.
I used to leave the house. I wouldn't eat breakfast. I would go by Starbucks on the way into work. I'd get my mocha, right? And I would get my pastry like around 10 o'clock. That would be my breakfast. Like I did that for years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because I wasn't important enough, or I just didn't have time for it, or whatever it
Right.
was.
And
I'm like,
even
holy
get
crap.
up half an hour earlier and make time for breakfast, right?
Well,
Like,
yes, if I felt that it was important, right?
right.
I needed that, I would have done that. I was living out of alignment everywhere.
Yeah.
So another aspect of this is resistance, right, causes illness.
Big time.
And so I was really resisting in a sense, like, of course, I felt it was my obligation. I'm running a big company, right, with my husband. So that's not an easy thing just to get out of. But when I could get out, I did, right? And immediately, like the stars started to align. I mean, as soon as you make a decision and you know, like what you want to do, everything falls into place,
Yes. The
right? It is
universe wants to
magical.
support you. Yes.
Yes, it is. I just get goosebumps thinking about it. It's like crazy amazing. You said something that was really important, and I just lost it because I got all goosebumpy.
We were
But I'll
talking about making the resistance makes you sick, you said, and
yes,
we were talking about the importance of like getting up earlier to take breakfast. But if you don't realize that that's important, then you don't even make that
right. But
modification.
resistance to being authentic in your life, right? It causes illness. And I was resisting something in a really big way recently. And oh my gosh, my body started to go crazy. I started to get like super tight up
Pain.
here, my neck. Oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. And it wasn't until I had a massage because there was no reason for it. And I mean, no reason that
No apparent
no,
reason.
right.
Right.
But I had this massage and she said, "Oh yeah, you're so tight." I said, "Yeah, that's why I hired you." And it doesn't like massage does not fix that, right? It helps you work through a little bit, but it doesn't fix the resistance. And I finally it was like, yeah, I'm on the fence about something. I'm really angry about it. I don't want to move forward. And so that
Wow.
right at that moment, I said yes to the choice. I said, I'm going to trust. And then I started to heal.
So it
Right.
was through the massage that the awareness came?
Yeah, it was after the massage when I'd had time just to be a little bit, right? And think, why is this happening? Why are my muscles so tight, right? We carry the world on our shoulders. I'm really good at that. Like I'm so strong, but at some point I just don't want to feel like that. I'm like, I don't like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And I realized I was just so resistant. Like every cell in my body was resisting this, accepting this fact that I needed to accept. And when I realized that and just accepted it, it's like I could breathe again. And so we have to
Yeah.
figure that out, and that's why this whole time concept is so important because you have to have space to be able to listen, right? To
Yeah.
be able to be
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Valerie, tell us a little bit about. So you say it just takes one day, right? And you have something very special coming up. And it's a free workshop, right? Is it an all
Yeah.
day thing or?
No, it's a 90-minute or 2 hour. It's a short, but it's powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called the Day Out of Time. And tell us a little bit why you created this. Like
Yeah.
why do we need to attend? I mean, we've been talking about how
Yeah.
incredibly important it is. And I know what I was going to say. I loved that you said get rid of the to-do list. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I have not had a to-do list for years because it wore me out. Like,
And it never ends.
yeah, have you ever finished your to-do list? Be honest, ladies. I
I want to read the answers to that. Have you ever finished
Yeah.
your to-do list?
At first, I was like, this feels great, crossing things off my to-do list, right? And then
Yeah.
down at the bottom, I'm like, oh, I got to do that. And I got to do this. And I got to do this. And I'm like, holy shit. Every day I left, my office, and I had as much on my list as I had the day before.
Or
So, like,
more.
Yeah, and I don't even think about doing a to-do list.
Yeah,
Like I haven't thought about that in years.
years.
So that
Isn't
was
that
a really good one.
amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
tell us about this really, really special.
Yeah. So as I was sharing about this, um, the civilizations that are in alignment with the world, one big civilization was the Mayans. They had developed like 23 different calendars. They had a calendar to grow corn and a calendar to study humankind and a calendar. I mean, they have all these calendars. And out of that, there was a big study that started in the 60s. And it created this calendar called the Dream Spell Galactic Calendar. And what it is a calendar that brings us back to something real, not an ad hoc 12-month divided sometimes in 28 days, sometimes in 31, sometimes in 30. And then there's some hours left, and we have to have every 4 years an extra day, and it doesn't make any sense. So it's based on the fact that 364 equates to 13 moon cycles of 28 days. And 364 is almost the cycle of the Earth around the sun, which is actually in our 24-hour days, 365 and 4 hours in our cycle. So, in order to align the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the sun, and allows us to breathe into the time concept and flow in a cyclical manner, which is how the nature of the body is. We have to sleep, we have to wake up, we have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to wake, right? Our bodies are cyclical in nature, and Earth is cyclical, and we have seasons. And when the seasons come, if we're aware of how we relate to the seasons, we're healthier. You teach this, Robin, a lot about eating what's the season vegetables, not eating in winter what is typical of summer and vice versa, and to eat as much as you can farm to table, to understand, to eat food that is as alive as we can get it, and all those concepts you teach, right? That are part of being in tune with our body's needs, and where we live, the environment that's Earth, the trees, the plants, the cycles of the moon, of the Earth, of the seasons. So, what happens on July 25th, on the Gregorian day of July 25th, it's called the day out of time because on July 24th, we end the 13 moons of 28 days. And on July 26th, we start a new cycle of 13 moons of 28 days. And this day out of time is recognized worldwide now by many of the nation tribes all over the world. And it's a day for harmony. That's the day. And they say time becomes art instead of time is money, right? Like how we're in the world. And so it's truly a day where the collective unconscious, which is a powerful force, now wants to bring us to have the opportunity to hit the pause button, to celebrate where you are and who you are, to receive alignment for your mind, body, and soul, like we were saying with you, Robin. And to truly, I think the biggest thing is to connect really with what you're meant to be doing. What is the life you're meant to be living? But you cannot do that unless you truly hit the pause button and really take a day out of time,
Yeah.
right? A day for a reset in time, like you said. I loved how you said that. And
Yeah.
so I'm inviting you to participate of this event that I'm going to teach you a lot more on how to tune into the cyclical aspects of time, what practical things you can do in your life to start taking care of yourself within the context in which you live, and actually even bringing some healing energies. I'm a healer, and so I'm going to be bringing healing energies for everybody participating. We're going to have a mini ceremony that just by being there, you're going to receive like an activation to get going in a little bit of a different way. That's for your highest and best, and supporting you in your choices.
Yeah, boy, we need that. I love that. I love so the 24th, July 24th ends the 28-day moon cycle, and then July 26th starts the new moon cycle. So you're
The
doing
new count of a
a new
new
count.
year of 13 moons. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think that this lands on a Sunday, right?
Yes, it
Yeah.
happens to be a Sunday this year, which is perfect.
Perfect. That it just sounds amazing. I would really love to participate in that. I think it just sounds incredible, and it's a way that we can get an extra day. We can see it as an extra day, right? To set our intentions too for like the next, well, year, cycle, whatever you want to call
Yes,
it.
yes,
The
yes.
next 13 moon cycle, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it because for us in our world, it falls in any case at the middle of the year,
Right,
which, we still have a half a year to readjust and
right.
course correct whatever we set up to do this year. It's a perfect time for a reset and let's look again what's ahead of me.
Yeah. So we all need to be there.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, we all need to be there. We all need to take Valerie's special course one day out of time, and it's free. So like we have no reason to not
Not to
show up,
join me.
right?
Yeah.
And it'll help like kind of get us back on track if we've fallen off our path. It'll help give us a new perspective on time and how we can reconnect with ourselves and make ourselves a priority, right? No matter what obligations you have,
Yeah.
we can
Make
still
ourselves a priority.
find ourselves and be in our bodies and align with our purpose no matter what else is going on. If we
That is key. And Robin,
yeah,
you've been the living, breathing experience with what the losses you've had at the beginning of this year and really honoring that for yourself despite big things happening in your life.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and we have to get help, right? Like that's why we need Valerie's help. We have to get help to get through some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We have to get help so that we can stay on our path,
Yeah, and
right?
sometimes, I mean, truthfully, we cannot do everything alone. That's why I knew I had to be in your program. It's like, I get it. And my goal, before I knew of your program, my goal this year was this is the year I'm going to get my body in full alignment. Like I've been working at it, more steps, and I have all the mindfulness aspect down. You can imagine that's what I do. I do the healing part, but I needed some down to earth information which you are providing me and all the tools you're providing me that are really chemical about my body that I didn't know that are helping me in that extra step. And it's important also to know when we cannot do it alone and when it's important to ask for help in all the aspects of what we're needing.
Yeah. And it's, especially if you find yourself, I know that some of you did the reset and that you were on it while we were doing the reset. And then as soon as we stopped all that magic, you forgot to take care of yourself. You forgot to make yourself a priority. So this is a great way to learn, how to make yourself or how to choose yourself every single day, right? It's definitely an art and
Yeah.
it takes some real tools. So we're posting a link right now. So make sure that you jump into Valerie's program. It's coming up in 2 weeks from Sunday, I think.
No, 1 week. It's
No, a
not
week
this
from
Sunday, the
Sunday.
next Sunday.
It is
Yeah.
coming
Like
right
10
up.
days.
So 10 days. So be sure to sign up now so that you don't forget or you don't freak out or you miss it. And we will see you there. Yeah.
Will you give them a link so that they can sign
We're
out?
posting the link right now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we've got
Awesome.
the link for them. And then if you have any questions too, just post them right here. And Valerie, are you in the Facebook group?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be checking
You are.
in. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And so we'll get all your questions answered. And oh my gosh, it's been just such a joy being with all of you. And Valerie, thank you so much for sharing some of this with us because it's a concept that we know, like we know we have to get a handle on our schedule. Like we
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. Intuitively, we know that thing,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
yeah,
If we want to feel well, but we just have no idea how to do that.
yeah, true.
And then we just think, well, I'm just going to try harder. I'm going to get up earlier, right? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to spread myself even thinner, right? And no, we're not doing that. So
Can I add one thing about that, which I think we touched upon around it, but I want to underline it, and you mentioned it. We do, and we don't understand that sometimes the healing comes from not doing and from being, from just stopping and breathing and hitting the pause button, because that gives us a vantage point, that gives us perspective. Because when we're in doing, like you said, we get up earlier and keep doing it, we're just more into the thing, and we never do this. We need to do this so that we can, oh, look, you gain perspective, and perspective gives you new ideas and new concepts and new ways of doing things and seeing things.
Yes. I don't think that we do any healing when we're doing. I don't think
No,
we do any healing. I do healing in my bath in the morning. Oh, I do healing when I'm sleeping. I do healing when I'm being or meditating, right?
contemplating, sitting in nature.
Yeah, so healing. Oh, all right, ladies, I will see you on
Okay.
July 25th in Valerie's program. And thank you so much for being here with us today. You are just this bright, shining light that has so much wisdom around all of this. I just love it. I
Thank
love
you for having me. I love you, and I love being a part of this community, and I love having been able to share a little bit like this of what I do. So thank
it is a
you.
little bit like this. Yeah, there's a lot like this that she has to share. All right, everybody, let's give Valerie a big
Thank
kiss.
you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Put
Kisses for
hearts.
all of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
hearts in the comments. So great. All right. So we will see you all in a couple of weeks for Hormone Breakthrough Wednesday. And we're going to send you all a big kiss. Mwah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.